now, I mean, just closing up, 3 tips for an aspiring entrepreneur. So say there's somebody in the same position that you guys were in, 3 years ago. They just don't fit in to the life that they're living, and they have ideas. What would you tell that person if they're right in the bubble and they're like, what would be 2 or 3 tips that you've learned along the way to get started?
That's a good question. I would say, assuming that they have an idea, I wouldn't take anything do a drastic move right away. I would kind of hit on from Ryan's point, which is, if you have an idea, spend some of your free time working on it and learning about it. Go to a coffee shop and ask people. If you're a programmer, start building some stuff on the side.
Yeah, sure.
If you're a business person, see if you can start meeting programmers to kind of build the, a basis for what you want to do for your company. And if you're not in tech, do the same thing for people in manufacturing and whatever it is. So just start really getting the idea out there, and what that'll do is it'll fuel your passion and really give you insight into, okay, this is something that could actually work, and you don't have to make this super, super risky, like, I'm quitting it all, I'm just going to go do it, which is much harder. So I'd say 1 is try to validate what you want to do without having to make a huge move right away, and then that makes that move much easier. And you'll find, like, once you get started learning about what you're passionate about, it's going to be really easy to go do that.
Yeah.
The second thing is, if you don't really want to start your own company, but you want to do something different, just do it. Like, maybe a little bit different than the other advice I said is, life is not about how much money you can make or, the title that you have in your job. What you're going to look back on is the amazing things you did and what you were a part of. So if you want to go be a part of a chicken farm, go do it, If you want to go be a mountain climber, go do it. And figure out a way to support yourself while you do it. So the first one is learn about what you want to do before you do it. Second is just do it.
Yeah.
And then probably the third one is get involved in your community. I think we would not be where we are at all today if we didn't go out and talk to smart people, give back to the community, do volunteer work, all that kind of stuff. That'll give you a great network of people, and businesses are really built around people, and making change is built around people, so you want to get involved as much as you can.
That's awesome. What's next for Everlater?
Do you want to say?
I guess. I don't know if I have 3, but what I was thinking of is, I always thought, like, I want to do. There was like a period of time. I'm a little bit older than Addie by a couple of years, but there was like a period of time in my mid-20s where I was very like agitated about my job and like I got to start my own thing, and I thought it was like I was very much focused on the idea that like it was an idea that was important. I had to like come up with some idea and then do it, and that's kind of bullshit. Like, because really it's about execution, and maybe you think like to be an entrepreneur that means you just come up with like good ideas, but really it's about executing on some idea in conditions of uncertainty, in these like small teams. And so it was great for me to I kept thinking like I was going to start my own thing, and I was always by myself, just like after work, like in my bedroom, and like it was like a bunch of projects that went 10% of the way through. And so so then I moved to this new town, and part of it is like, hey, I got to meet new people, and I'm an entrepreneurial kind of guy, and so I just ended up meeting other people and like hitching myself to their train, which
that's awesome.
Which ended up being a great thing for me because I'm probably better at like completing assignments than I am at like being as this island of like self-motivation that can do amazing things.
It's a huge message, because a lot of people, they are always trying to do it alone. And those are the same people that have projects that are 25%, 30% of the way, because they just don't have all the skills.
That'd probably be the other thing, is that you have to have a good co-founder or co-founders. It's impossible to do it alone. So what I would say is, make sure you're finding and working with good people.
Yeah, the number of companies you've ever heard of that are started by one people is almost zero. And actually, I think in our class, there was one team that was one founder, and I think he was probably the most brilliant guy in the whole program.
Yeah.
And he probably came out not as well as most of the other ones, just because like to run a company, like the number of things you have to do that besides like developing the product is insane, and like there's no way to keep up. So
that's interesting. What's next for Everlater? Like, what will we see over the course of next year, 2011?
Yeah, Everlater's growing really well. It's an exciting time for us. We're launching new features all the time. So we've had a big focus on mobile. So you'll see some new mobile stuff coming out.
Awesome.
Redesign of the site we just launched. You'll see some improvements on that as well. We're going to probably take the location aspect of Everlater down a level. and by downloadable I mean deeper. So right now Everlater's focused on kind of the big stops of your trip.
Yeah.
We're going to make those stops be more relevant in terms of where you actually went and being able to plot that stuff on a
That's
map,
cool.
which would
That's
be cool.
cool.
And
As
then
a nomad, I appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we also have our great book product, so we're going to be launching some new printed goods that I think people will really like as well. So
Sweet.
kind of taking, we want you to create your travel journal and then be able to do a lot of stuff with it,
Yeah.
post mobily, turn it into books, print it,
That's awesome.
have friends and family follow it. So we have a lot of products going on there. So and then you'll probably see some interesting partnerships as well.
Very cool. Where can people find you guys? Do you guys have blogs, or are you on the Twitter?
Probably the best thing is for us is Twitter. So
Cool. Alright.
if you go to everlater.com, I think if you go down at the bottom, there's a team link, and you can find all of our team on
Sweet.
Most of our team.
most of our team on there.
Some people were
There's
recalcitrant
one
towards the
person
Twitters.
who does not make the cut.
Yeah.
Who shall remain nameless.
Yeah, but if you want to know more about Everlater, we're always accessible. Follow us on Twitter. You can fan us on Facebook. You can email feedback@everlater.com. We
Awesome.
all get those. We respond to everyone.
There's like a
And
little.
Yeah, you guys do
there's,
respond like crazy, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
there's a little help thing on the side of all our pages on our site, and usually you can use that to chat with us. And
Oh, sweet.
A huge thing for us is we just love talking travel with people. We love helping people with their
We-
travel
we can
journals.
note it.
So
I mean, being users ourselves,
Yeah.
like, you guys are way more responsive. We're geeks, so like we use every app out there.
Yeah.
You guys are way more responsive than 99% of the things.
yeah,
out
well,
there.
we care about our users. So
That's cool.
And then the other thing is, people out there who are traveling, let us know what we can do better. I mean, we're really built by all the suggestions that people out
Yeah.
there have for us, and as people travel. So let us know.
It's totally cool. Awesome, guys. Thanks
Cool.
for being with
Yeah,
us.
thank
We
you.
really